This next portion of the video is about the engine compartment startup. What we're going to do is just like before, left to right, top to bottom. So if you see it, you say it. We're going to start on the left. We're going to start as far back as we can go. So I'm going to talk about the low boy down here. There's a switch back here that allows it to raise and lower the entire bus. Then I have the emergency brake, which we'll go back and do during the actual brake test system. Then I have a silver switch here that raises and lowers just the tag axle only. Then I have my mirror adjustment buttons. At this point, the mirror adjustment, you have to point out how they work. And so at this point is my reminder to go ahead and skip a few things forward to actually start the engine up, to be able to get the rest of these things to work. So what I'm going to do is put my foot on the service brake. I'm going to make sure that it's in neutral. I'm going to click the silver button down here, one click, and I'm going to look to see that the ABS brake light comes on and then it goes off, which is proper. And I'm listening for the clicking and everything, all the computer to go through its parts. Then I'm going to go ahead and start the engine. My foot's still on the brake. I notice that it is in neutral now. You must say that it's in neutral. And now I start the engine. And now I have engine running, and that allows me to go ahead and test the rest of the system. This is telling me that I don't have my seatbelt on, so this is a good time for me to go through and test my seatbelt. I'm checking it for any frays, wears, cracks, and it's all connected good. I am going to go ahead and bring it across and hook it into the holder here. It's a good time to be testing this. And it is connected, it is solid, and if I tug on it, it actually stops, which is what you should be doing. Now I can go back to my mirrors and check them. The left knob, if I turn it to the left, it adjusts the lower mirror. If I move it to the right, it adjusts the upper mirror. If I look to the knob to the right of that, it adjusts my right mirror. Again, to the left, up raises and lowers the bottom mirror. To the right, it raises and lowers the upper mirror. Next to that is my window shade, or my window, driver window. It is working properly. My driver window and this driver window, there are no cracks. It is solid. It is in place. Speaking of my mirrors on both sides, I can see all the way from the front to the rear. There's no clouding, there's no cracking. The mirrors are not cracked. I can see to the rear on both mirrors clearly. Next is my mirror heat. The next button is to lock and unlock the baggage bins. The next button is for my cruise. The next button is for my raise and lower of the front, just to help load passengers. The next one is my button for the air button, for the air horn. That is air, that is electric, and both horns are working. The next up here is my transmission. It does have reverse, neutral, and drive, and I can shift it in a manual mode if I need to. The next thing I'm looking at is my mirrors here to see behind me. I can see clearly behind me to make sure that if anyone has fallen or tripped or coming up the stairs, and I will adjust those as I need to. Going up to the dash, again, left to right, top to bottom. This is showing me what's going on in the rear of the coach right now. Below that is my headlights, and I'm leaving them on. The next one is my fog lights. The next one are my four-way flashers. My four-way flasher indicators are working. The next one is for my upper wipers. They are working. The next one is for my washers, and that is the washer for the upper, and the washers are working. The next one is for my defroster. The defroster is working. This little screen down here is my tire pressure indicator. It is now reading all my tires are okay. The next button is for my driver shield, so the sun shield. The next one is for my passenger side sun shield. The next one with a rabbit on is for my high idle, and I want to have my high idle on. The next one next to the rabbit is the engine brake. If that's on, it will shut off the engine brake system. The next one is the engine override. If your engine is racing and it will not stop, that will shut it down on an emergency override. Okay, next I'm going to talk about the steering wheel. There's a button down here that you push with your foot, and that adjusts it up and down, and no matter where I put it. It also does the scoping part of the wheel. While I'm on the wheel, I'm going to always go from inside to outside to talk about the steering wheel. So I'm going to talk about the horn that I already checked, that the steering wheel has no cracks or breaks. It is solid. There's not more than 10 degrees of play either way of center. That I do have my cruise control buttons on here, and I also have my window shades up here to bring them up and down on here. Next, I'm looking at my left-hand side. This is for the lower washer, and it is working. The wiper blades look to be solid to the window. They look to be in good shape with no cracks, tears, and they are attached and working. The next button is the windshield washer. It is the collar on the outside. You push on it and the fluid does come out. It is also my turn indicator. So by pulling down, my lights on the dash show that I have a left turn indicator, and it shows I have a right turn indicator. Okay, we're going to start with the dash. The upper left gauge tells me if my turbo boost is working. The next one below that is for my water temperature. It is now at a proper operating temperature at 180 degrees. Next one down is my oil pressure, which is indicating about 50 pounds of pressure right now, which is the proper operating pressure. Next to that is my depth amount. It is now showing about 3/4 full, so it lets me know I have enough depth. Above that is my tachometer. It is currently idling at 10,000 RPMs, and that is the proper idling. It does show that my parking brake is on. Next to that is my speedometer. I will test that when I start going forward to make sure that it is operating properly. Below that is my fuel gauge. My fuel gauge is just below full. Next to that are my front and my rear air tanks. Both of those are at 100 and just below, right around 130 pounds of pressure, which is proper in this parking situation. So the other thing I'm going to check is, because I have my headlights on, my high beam indicator is working. Next is my, to the right is green is my door to shut the door, and red is to close the door. This is my driver overhead light. This is the lights for the center. This one is the lights that are to do the reading of the lights. Next one is the fan that blows air down on everyone. Then there's a chime button that driver or the passenger can push on the red button, and that makes a chime. Down here is to adjust your light that you have on your dash. Next is the driver air system, and you can adjust the temperature or the fan speed, and it is all working. This is the passenger, and it is, you can adjust it. You can also put the defroster on, which it is working, or you can adjust the airflow so it's down on you or on your feet, and it is working. Next is my DVD player, which I don't need to go into because it is not a safety sensitive deal. I'm again checking my windows on the left. They are secure. There's no breaks, no cracks in either one of those. Looking at my windshield, I do have a crack in stone chip in my windshield, but it's not too far. I will put it on my DVIR as a post trip. I may check with maintenance to see if they wish to repair it before I leave. They may want to squirt some liquid glass into it to keep it from traveling. Otherwise, my driver's side windshield looks secure and solid. I'm looking at my passenger side windshield. It looks secure and solid, and I don't see any kind of stone chips or cracking or breaking. I'm now looking at my door side. The door is closed. I can see out the window clearly, and the window above it is clear. So everything there is in good shape. At this point, I have completed the driver compartment and the startup mode of the motor coach.